Markus, thank you for being with me today. It's a pleasure to have you with us. As a disclaimer, we are very good friends.
Very good friends.
And I have really a great respect for you as a person and as a leader. So let's start from this. First of all, if you can introduce yourself, and then of course I'm going to ask you, so maybe you can already tell us, how did you decide to move from academia to being CEO of EHL Atelier?
So my name is Markus Venzin. I'm Swiss-German, and since 4 weeks I'm Italian. As you know, I lived for 25 years in Italy, married a Sicilian. That's why I did a foreign direct investment from Switzerland to Italy. I studied in Constance, St. Gallen, did a PhD there in strategy and organizations. I looked at the influence of power on knowledge development and strategic conversations. How can you have good conversations about the future if everybody wants to slice the cake and not to enlarge the cake? That was an interesting PhD. I made my university career at Bocconi University for 25 years, created a venture builder, corporate hangar with now 45 people and 7 startups.
And we're going to come back to this at the end, by the way.
Come back to that. And then since 2.5 years, I decided to accept the position as CEO of EHL group. And the reason why I did that was that I was for 25 years a professor. It was easy to finger point. No, oh, this doesn't work, this doesn't work, this doesn't work. But here, now, I think with EHL, we can really create the best education in the world for not only higher education, but we have also vocational training. And we are a category killer. Like in hospitality competences, we are the #1 in the world. So that was really attractive for me.
Wonderful. By the way, I'm not calling it EHL Atelier de Lausanne, right? I'm calling it the EHL. Why? There was a kind of rebranding at a certain point, right?
There was a very courageous rebranding because EHL Atelier de Lausanne is a very strong brand. But we just recognized that around 2/3 of our students, they do not go into hospitality, like core hospitality careers anymore. They go into private banking, into consulting, into luxury retail, into healthcare, luxury healthcare. So we said that we rebrand and we create hospitality business school, competing with the top business schools in the world. We are AACSB accredited. And at the same time, we created a school of practical arts, just to show that we are still rooted in this industry. So now I'm the CEO of a group which has 2 schools and other functions below.
How old is EHL?
132.
132. So older than Clinique La Prairie. We are heading to the 100. So we are faced, in a sense, the same problem, which is how do you bring a company with this very strong heritage to the future. What is your take on this? Because today we are going to talk more about the longevity of the company than longevity of the people, even if we are going to get into it. How do you plan to bring EHL to the future?
I mean, first of all, I was living in the dream to say I come there, I kickstart a few projects, and I'm leading from the front and trying to move things. I think I did, but when we really started to move, when I engaged the team. So I think it's critical to have a team that shares a vision, shares a common approach. So for us, probably as important, or maybe even more important than the strategy, was to change the culture. So we made a cultural change program, developing new behavioral standards, and then we try to understand what is our core mission, why are we here, what is the raison d'être, and then we started to shrink a little bit to this core, and now develop new products, being very clear about what our core is. I think that's a way to stay healthy in the long term.
And what about in this process? How was your leadership style? We have discussed it many times, and you always talk about a different type of leadership depending on the stage of the company, right? It's called situational leadership. How would you elaborate on this, on what you did in terms of leader in this process?
It's a situational leadership, so trying to understand in which position the company is, but also leadership in relation to the single person. Even if the company is in a particular situation, I would not lead person A in the same way as person B, because it's a dyadic relationship. When I started, we needed to make a little bit more radical changes. So my leadership style was a little bit more top down. Maybe you know the spaghetti principle. Trying to move a spaghetti from one side of the table to another with only one finger. It's very hard to do now. If you try, if the spaghetti is cooked, you cannot. You need to pull. If the spaghetti is raw, you can. So the same with the companies. If the spaghetti if the company is in a solid situation, you push from behind and you adjust a little bit, but you decentralize decision making. So in the beginning of my tenure, I perceived that the company was in a situation where in a less solid situation. So I needed to make changes a little bit more top down for the first 6 months. But then we decentralized decision making very, very quickly. We moved from a functional organization to a segment organization. The budgeting process changed, so the budget responsibility went down towards lower levels, and for us, accountability was extremely important. Now, sometimes when you have silos, you need to break the silos, but obviously, if the silos are self-sufficient, at least it is better to easier to make them work and produce results. And then, as a second step, you need to be able to make them collaborate in the second phase, where we decentralized more decision.
So thank you very much, Markus. Now let's move a little bit talking about luxury. We are in a luxury business here at Clinique La Prairie. You do a lot in luxury. We personally believe at the clinic that luxury is a transformation, is really fulfilling our mission of being life changer. Mm-hmm. And we are seeing both of us, a lot of the clients that were used to buy luxury goods moving to this transformational experience, the need of transformational experience. We believe longevity is the best of both worlds. There is the experience, but there is also an experience which is changing your life. Mm-hmm. How is now École Hôtelière looking at luxury? And how are you shaping, from your point of view, the luxury space?
So historically, we have not only served the luxury industry in hospitality. We are there for any level of hospitality organization, but increasingly we are now going into the luxury segment. We have added specializations in luxury. We have in our alliance program many luxury firms. And they're just interested in our attention to detail, in our attention to the customer, trying to understand the customer, trying to link with the customer. So, for example, we have an institute of affective intelligence. So we try to do research on how I can improve my capability to understand you, emotional intelligence. But not only that, to understand also how your actions towards me affect me, my thinking, my feeling, and how I can develop an adequate response to you. So I think that's the essence.
You agree with me, which is
always
transformation, because transformation is part of what we do. That you need human to change human.
You need to change a person to change, to have an impact on a person. Obviously, I wouldn't be that drastic. So if you have an intelligent device on your hand or on your ring finger that is telling you now you didn't sleep well because you drank coffee, and so I think you can change behavior also with technology that is supporting you. But I think the bigger impact comes from a human relation.
You were talking about going to the essence of what you do, to the core capabilities, and then expanding from that core. Why would you say EHL is different today?
EHL is different because I think we are the only ones that are focusing on hospitality competencies in an academic way, but very close to industry. So we develop our concepts in collaboration with the industry. We are an applied university. The research that we make They're rigorous, but they need to have an impact. And I think in that we are really different. And I think we are now here on the campus in Lausanne. The infrastructure is just amazing. The culture is amazing. Similarly to smaller scale in Pasuk in our campus there, in Singapore on our campus. So I think it's also very hard to copy the feeling that you have there when you enter into our campus. The students have a smile on their faces.
Yeah, sure. That's I can confirm. Now let's start to move into longevity of health. How you think is gonna longevity and health impact hospitality? I always say when I have people from hospitality, be ready because your clients are asking about longevity, so you need to be ready. What is your point on this?
True, it's a big trend. Also, we just published a nutrition and well-being report interviewing a lot of experts, you being among them. We have a nutrition institute, so we do research on nutrition, on new types of foods, and how can you create good recipes that you actually like. So longevity is not a pain, but it's joyful. So we look at nutrition, but then we also look at the most important factor for longevity, which is, I think, human relations. So if you look at the various studies on longevity, the blue zones, one element is that old people, but any age group, for any age group, it's important. You have a strong network of relations, and hospitality creates or facilitates this network. We have we are talking about in philosophy about the third place. We have the first place, which is the home, the second place, which is the office, and then the third place used to be, I don't know, the church, the pub, the square in Italy.
Public square, right?
Yes. So we are losing this a little bit, and people are suffering. So you see from studies now, especially in younger generations, that 29% in a recent study have reported to suffer frequently from loneliness. That's the new pandemic, loneliness. If you're lonely, you
lead to mental health problem, and now, my impression, Markus, is that our industry is getting bigger and bigger. There are more and more hospitality players that wants to introduce longevity concept and health concept, but there is not enough training done. There is not enough competence. How do you see the market evolving from this point of view? Who is going to provide all this education, and what would you suggest to students that would like to get into hospitality, but also bridge this gap between hospitality and longevity?
Yeah, it's a good point. First of all, I think hoteliers that want to go into this area need to be very, very clear about what are the competences that they add. So they have the hospitality competencies, and then now they add other competencies which they don't have. Whether they want to partner with somebody like you, or whether they want to develop it internally. Another thing that they need to do is to study the relationship between investments in training, happiness of staff and clients, and performance of the organization. So I see that sometimes now what we have is we have this distinction between hospitality and service excellence. And what I see, especially after COVID, is that even in top 5-star hotels, that we have very bad service. And then the GMs, they say, it's enough that they smile. They make you feel at home. That's the definition of hospitality, feeling at home. But I think we need to invest in skills, in training people on service skills. And I think we also need to make them aware that there is a career to be made in the industry, and that it's technical. It's not just carrying a plate. It's actually a very sophisticated career. And only like that we can try and reduce the talent shortage problem that we have. I think opening a new hospitality venture together with in a life style in a let's say, nutrition, in longevity area, we need people. We need people that like to do this job, and that's very hard to get.
Yeah, and it's also, I mean, there is always a question that I ask when I have a lot of people in a room, and I say, how many of you think health is important? Everybody saying, wow, fantastic.
What do you do?
And then I show statistics and I say less than 10%, for example, of the people are moving enough. In terms of investment, just 2% of the investment in health goes to preventive medicine. So there is not in reality so much which is done. I think you have the same problem when you say how important is service and training. Everybody is saying, wow, it's amazing. But then in reality, the investment there are not as big as we would like. And this is also leading to the fact that we have sometimes experiences which are not in line with what we are expecting, right?
At least in your field, you have numbers. No, we don't. No, we have some studies here and there that says, I invest 100,000 Swiss francs in training, and the effect of this is 200 or 250. So it's very hard to measure. We could try and measure that, but it's not even important enough to be measured, it seems.
We have the philosophy, we call it the 4 pillars: medical, nutrition, well-being, and movement. And in fact, out of the 4 pillars, there are at least 3 pillars which are kind of crossing between hospitality, between what you do and what we do. So there is the nutrition, right? There is the movement, which in any case, by the way, in your campus is super important, and we can elaborate about this later. There is all this well-being part where you are doing a lot, right? Mental health. You also wanted to launch a program in EHL based on this. These are skills that you think are going to become more important in hospitality on top of the traditional service part?
I think what people want is authentic experiences and experiences that they can remember. And if they are life transforming experiences, even better. So for sure, we need to invest in the capability to support this trend. And as you said, on campus we have an amazing gym infrastructure. We have a pool. We have 2 tennis courts. We have paddle courts. We have beach volleyball. We have a jogging track, and so forth. So I think for us it's important also for our students and staff that they are physically well, and which leads to mental well-being. We also talk about mindfulness. We have courses in meditation, and sooner or later we will launch well-being.
We will launch longevity together. Yes. And let's talk about nutrition, because I want to discuss with you a point. You know, I always want to bring into each pillar the best innovation which is available in the market. So we start to have audio wave in the well-being part. We have, even in the movement, we create a very unique type of technology in terms of wearables, shoes. I always found it difficult to find new technology in nutrition. But then recently we had a very nice partnership together with a company that you started, which is called Kifutura, right?
Yes.
Which, can you tell us more about this company? Because I think it's an amazing venture that you started with your corporate angle.
Yeah.
And now we have Kifutura a little bit everywhere, and our clients can see their small plants growing before they come. And we have our chef coming and taking the fresh plants. Tell us more about this.
So Kifutura is a Milan-based startup that we have created 4 years ago. It is basically a garden, a vertical garden, where you are able, as you say, you can grow your plants, being herbs, being salads, microgreens, and in this environment, the plants get the optimal vitamin source, fertilizers, the optimal light. So what you do is you cut. My agronomists, they say, if you cut the plant, you kill a plant, and every hour you have less nutrients and vitamins and stuff. So you cut it, and then the chefs, they say, you cut and then it loses taste. You don't even have to wash it, and like this, you not only do something for your nutrition, you also do something for your happiness, because you see plants grow. Everything is difficult in life, but these plants, they grow. You have an app, you start you say, okay, now grow, and then they grow. It's something that is also I would say good for hospitals. There is a lot of research that links the presence of plants and green in rooms on reducing the time spent in a hospital in order to get better. So it's a wonderful startup. Reduced water consumption, 95% less water that you're using. The light is like a laptop, so it's not consuming that much. It's a very nice.
Staying on the innovation side, Markus, which are other innovation that you are seeing coming in the hospitality business?
So as I said,
we were Saturday. We were together talking about artificial intelligence. We had the panel on artificial intelligence. So this is for sure coming. Other things that you.
Yeah, so I mean, for EHL as an education institution, there's a lot going to change in relation to artificial intelligence. The way students get tutored, the way exams are made, proctored, and also assessed. That's going to change a lot. In the hospitality industry, I think other than AI, there are certain innovations related to robotics. I mean, it's increasingly hard to get chefs, or not so much chefs, but cooks that are in the kitchen, that chop the carrots, and so we need to understand to what extent can we substitute this by robots. Same for house cleaning. We need to understand in the reception whether we need to whether we can to some extent substitute the human with a machine that can do the sign in of a guest and stuff. Something that probably in the top level will not be predominant, but still it's going to be used. CRM is going to change a lot. Then energy efficiency is going to be also more and more important. Devices that understand energy consumptions, reduce energy consumption. Many different things there.
Thank you. Sleep is very important to longevity. We will discuss about your longevity routine after. Yes. There is something that doesn't make you sleep at night, or let's turn it the other way. One problem that you would like to solve in EHL or in general in the industry that you are leading, that you think it's.
So fortunately, I sleep very well.
Yeah,
I mean, this is really good. But I think the problem number one is making this industry attractive for young people, showing them that this is an interesting career to embark on. I think that's the issue number one that we have.
Okay, longevity. Tell us your longevity routine.
My longevity routine.
I mean, there are a lot of CEO are listening to longevity talk.
Yes.
And we know how difficult it is to introduce routine habits. What are you doing?
I mean, as you can see, 75. It works. No, 57. But still it works. You, by the way, you changed my longevity routine. I was fasting. I didn't eat in the morning, and then your Dr. Heine said, Markus, maybe you should start to eat in the morning. No, and I did that, and I feel much better. So that really changed. So I think that all the longevity routines, they really need to be tailored. So how many eggs can you eat? How many eggs should you eat? I mean, you see a lot of research and studies. You really need to understand.
So personalization is important in hospitality, as we always say. Clinique La Prairie is super important in longevity.
I completely agree. Another thing that Dr. Heine said was you need to do more cardio. So I was under the impression that I could just go and do weights and maybe do the weights a little bit more fast, so my pulse would go up. But if you have VO2 max as an important predictor for longevity, my Apple Watch said that I was almost dead. Now I have another device that says I'm much better, so I tend to use the other device. But for sure, I think cardio. I started to do more cardio and more high impact training intervals. Then I try to, I mean, I have a very hard life, you can imagine. We have 14 food outlets in the school. We have a 1-star Michelin restaurant, and I have a lot of business lunches and dinners. But then sometimes I try to follow the rules of the chefs, which is very sad. No bread, no wine, and no dessert.
And a good sleep.
And a good sleep. But sometimes you also have to, how do they say, boost your metabolism? A cheat day.
And coming frequent at Clinique La Prairie.
Absolutely, yes.
Thank you, Markus.
Thank you.